The smell of fresh paper and printer's ink. Pages that still stuck together because no one had flipped through them before you. It's September 1983, maybe 1985. The year doesn't matter. What matters is this. The Kell catalog is sitting on the kitchen table, thick as a phone book, heavy as a promise. And you know that the next 3 months of your life will revolve around this book. Around the pages you'll touch so often they'll become softer than the rest. Around the pencil circles you'll draw. Around the hope folded into every dog-eared corner. If you know this feeling, that mixture of anticipation and longing that only a child in September can feel for Christmas, then you know exactly what we're talking about. And with that, the real ritual begins. The 1980s weren't just a different decade. They moved to a different rhythm entirely. There was no internet, no same-day delivery, no clicking a button and having something arrive at your door by morning. Wanting something meant waiting for it. And waiting wasn't a burden back then. It was the whole point. Stores closed early, 6 o'clock on weekdays, Saturdays at 2. Sundays, everything was shut, completely. If you wanted to see the newest toys, you walked downtown with your family and press your nose against the cough-off or Karstadt window displays. That was your Saturday entertainment. But the catalog needed no store hours. It was always there. Always open, always full of possibilities. Whether you lived in Munich or Hamburg, in a small village in the Black Forest, or an apartment block in the Ruhr Valley, the Kell catalog arrived at every doorstep. Rich families or working class, didn't matter. Every house got one, and every child who held it developed their own system. Now comes the part every child remembers. The first flip through, you didn't start at page 1. Nobody did. You went straight to the toy section, pages 52 through 56 in most editions. The expensive pages, the ones that made your heart race. The overwhelming moment hit you immediately. You wanted everything, every single thing on every single page. The Playmobil pirate ship, the Marklin train set with a mountain tunnel, the Carrera racing track that you knew would take up the entire basement. All of it. You wanted all of it. But you couldn't have all of it, so you developed a system. Some kids use pencil circles. Careful, precise, easy to erase if you change your mind. Other kids, the bold ones, use pen. No going back. Some drew stars next to their favorites. 1 star meant, I like this. 3 stars meant, I really want this. 5 stars meant, I will actually die if I don't get this. Do you remember your system? Circles? Stars? Or were you one of those kids who dog-eared the corners so hard the pages almost ripped? And that one page, the page with the toy, the one you wanted more than anything, that page got touched so many times it became softer than all the rest. You could find it with your eyes closed. Then came the wish list, handwritten, sometimes rewritten 3 or 4 times because your handwriting wasn't neat enough, or because you changed your mind, or because you wanted it to look serious, official, like a real document that deserved to be taken seriously. You'd leave it somewhere strategic, on the kitchen counter, tucked into your mother's apron pocket, placed on your father's newspaper, somewhere they couldn't miss it, somewhere that said, I'm not asking, I'm just making sure you know. And then you waited. October felt long. November felt longer. December 1st through the 23rd was pure torture. You'd check under your parents' bed for hidden packages. You'd listen for the sound of wrapping paper rustling behind closed doors at night. You'd analyze every conversation, every glance, every time your mother said, well, see, instead of no, Playmobil or Lego. This question ended friendships on the playground. Be honest, which side were you on? And finally, Christmas Eve arrived. The living room door stayed closed all day. You could see the glow of tree lights through the crack at the bottom. You could smell pine needles and gingerbread. Somewhere in the house, a radio played Christmas carols. Then the little bell rang. The door opened. And there it was. The tree. The lights. The magic. Your eyes scanned for the package. The one that matched the size and shape of what you'd circled. What you'd starred. What you'd dreamed about for 3 months. And then, sometimes it was there, but sometimes And if you're honest, you remember this too. It wasn't. The gift under the tree was the wrong shape, the wrong size. Your heart did that thing where excitement crashes into confusion, crashes into something that feels a lot like disappointment. All of it happening in front of your whole family. You smiled anyway. You said thank you. You acted like this was exactly what you wanted, because that's what you were supposed to do, because your grandmother was watching, because your parents were watching your face with expressions you couldn't quite read. And underneath the smile, something small broke, just a little. You felt guilty for being disappointed. Be grateful, said the voice in your head. The voice that sounded like every adult who ever told you that children in other countries had nothing, that you were lucky to get anything at all. You were lucky. You knew that. But you were also 8 years old, and you had dreamed about that Playmobil pirate ship for 3 months. And it wasn't under the tree. Here's the thing, though. Years later, maybe when you became a parent yourself, you understood. You finally read the expression on your father's face correctly. It wasn't indifference. It was hope. Hope that the gift he could afford would be enough. Hope that you wouldn't notice what was missing. You learned about the choices he made. Between your dream toy and the electricity bill. Between the expensive page and the realistic page. Between what you wanted and what the family needed. And you realized that the wrong gift wasn't wrong at all. It was love. Love that couldn't afford more, but gave everything it had. Hand on heart. Which toy did you never get? But never forget? Here's where it gets interesting. What we didn't know back then. The Kell catalog wasn't just a book of products. It was psychological engineering. Pages 52 through 56, the toy section, were placed exactly where research showed children would flip first. The expensive items were positioned strategically to maximize desire. Every page, every placement, every photograph was designed to make you want things as intensely as possible. And those photographs, they were taken in June. Children modeling winter toys, wearing cozy sweaters, pretending to play in the snow, while sweating under studio lights in the middle of summer. You were part of a carefully designed emotional machine, and you had no idea. Then there's the Playmobil secret. Hans Beck, the inventor, designed those little figures with blank expressions on purpose. No eyebrows, just a simple smile. Why? Because he believed the child should decide how the figure feels, not the toy company. The child projects emotions onto the figure, he said, not the other way around. That's German toy philosophy in a nutshell. Imagination over instruction. The toy doesn't tell you what to feel. You tell the toy. Compare that to American toys of the same era, with their detailed backstories and cartoon tie-ins telling you exactly who each character was and what they were supposed to do. Did you know any of this? Or, like most of us, do you feel a little manipulated in the best possible way? But behind all the psychology and design, something more important was happening. We were learning to wait. Think about it. Today, you want something, you click, you have it tomorrow. Sometimes the same day. The time between wanting and having has shrunk to almost nothing. Back then, wanting and having were separated by 3 months. 3 months of dreaming. 3 months of hoping. 3 months of anticipation. That was its own kind of gift. Which one builds character? Which one teaches patience? Which one creates gratitude? We learned something in those waiting months that can't be taught any other way. That good things take time. That not everything comes when you want it. That the journey to having something might matter as much as having it. Maybe you weren't the child waiting at the door. Maybe you were the parent on the other side of it. If you were the one saving since summer, stretching every paycheck, hoping your child would notice the smaller package, this is for you too. That parent deserves to be seen. That sacrifice deserves to be remembered. And for families who came to Germany as guest workers, Turkish, Italian, Greek, Yugoslav, the Kell catalog told a different story. The same book of dreams, but a different economic reality. Some of those children couldn't ask for what their German classmates would get. Some felt the weight of budget stretched too thin to include expensive toys. Some learned early that wanting and having were very different things. But some of you, got the one gift that meant belonging. The same toy as the other kids. The thing that said, finally, I'm the same as everyone else. Were you the child at the door or the parent behind it? Both deserve recognition. The Playmobil figures from those years might still be in your grandmother's basement. Your children might have found them. 3 generations. Same toys, same quality, same memories passed down. That's not just nostalgia. That's inheritance. What remains of all this? Playmobil is still made in Zerndorf, Germany. Still made in Germany, on the box. Markland trains from the 1980s still run. 40 years later, still working. Some toys outlive marriages, careers, entire lifetimes. German quality wasn't just marketing. It was a promise kept. But the Kell catalog? Gone. The company went bankrupt in 2009. Hertie is gone. Many Karstadt locations, too. The ritual of flipping through those pages, circling your dreams with a pencil, that can never happen again. Today's children can have almost anything within days. That's not their fault. The world simply won't let them wait anymore. Algorithms predict what they want before they know they want it. Something valuable was lost in that acceleration. This isn't about saying everything was better back then. The world moves forward. It should. But understanding what we had, recognizing why it mattered, that's not nostalgia. That's wisdom. And wisdom is worth keeping. The Kell catalog doesn't arrive in September anymore. The pages don't get soft from touching. The pencil circles don't get drawn. But the feeling of waiting, hoping, being disappointed, and being grateful anyway, you still carry that. You brought it with you into adulthood, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Every time you want something and choose to wait, every time something doesn't work out and you keep going anyway, every time you explain to your children why not everything needs to happen immediately, the Christmases of your childhood taught you that. Even when you didn't know it was a lesson, if you watch this all the way through, share it with someone who understands. Someone who also had a page that got softer than the rest. Someone who remembers the pencil circles and the hope and the closed living room door. And tell us, which toy did you never get but never forget? We read every story.